Well, we've all heard, there we go. We've all heard that successful people set goals. We know about SMART
We've
goals.
all heard.
Hold on, I've got a little bit of an echo. There we go. We've all heard that successful people set goals. We know about SMART goals. I have a very strange echo going on. Wow, I'm not sure why that's happening. Let me try this. Is there an echo going on now? Don't you love live? Okay, let's see. Happy What If Wednesday, friends, where anything can happen. I think I'm streaming myself. There we go. I think I was listening to myself. How's that? Greetings from Wichita. Okay, we are on. Hello, friends. It's Mindy Odlin. It is What If Wednesday. Okay, so we all know that successful people set goals, right? That's pretty standard. We set our goals, we set our resolutions, we have our intentions, and we push to create those goals, to achieve those SMART goals, right? That's what smart people do. It's a success strategy, and it's a proven success strategy. At the same time, many of us have learned in spiritual wisdom another type of success, like what brings happiness, what brings fulfillment. And maybe you've heard about the idea of non-attachment, letting go. So today is about just the combination of those. Like, how do they work together? So which is it? Do I set goals and push, or do I let go? Do I not get attached? Well, today to talk about this, I have a very special guest. We've had this conversation before, and it's always so rich and so fascinating. I want to introduce to you my very good friend, Morris Sims. Morris, welcome to What If Wednesday. It's great to have you here.
It's great to be here, Mindy. I am so excited. I can't see straight. It
Can't
really
hear
is
you,
going to be a
Morris. I think
blast.
you're muted still.
How's that? Is that better?
We're having all
Geez.
kinds of fun today, aren't we? So I'm still not hearing you, Morris, but I am seeing Mary Sell in the house. Greetings from Wichita. I see Alex Gossi greeting us. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for sharing in the comments. Morris, how are you? Oh, Morris, she can hear you. Okay, so why can't I hear you? There you go. Try that.
Okay, let's see. How's
There
that?
we
Is that
go.
better?
That was me. It's all me. Everything is all me today. See, this is what we get before we went live. Just so you know, Morris was talking about how he was the talent and I'm the producer. We had this conversation about roles, and anyway, it's been a very fun morning of clearly. Morris, you're the talent, and I'm going to try to keep up with you today. So thank you all for being here. I see Donna Benjamin out in Bend, Oregon. Hi, Donna. Glad you can be here. Alex, thank you for jumping in. You can hear him. I was trying to get rid of my feedback. And anyway, technology. So Morris Sims is a podcaster extraordinaire. He has a show called The Business of Sales. He has had a career in sales, very successful career in sales. And now he has a training and consulting company where he helps other people achieve results and success. So Morris, talk about like, what is the role that goal setting has played in your life, especially as a sales professional, where goal setting is such a big part of that culture?
Hey, Mindy, that's a great question because I think we get a little bit too excited. Pardon me, I apologize. I'm fighting something.
Okay.
I think we get a little too excited about the word goals sometimes, especially as salespeople, when we all have an objective to hit. We all have to do a certain amount of business in a certain amount of time. And I think sometimes we get a little too tied up on the result and we forget about what it takes to get to that result. I'm all about the practical side of the world. Very, very much so. I'm so much tied up in making sure things are practical and useful today that sometimes I miss the big picture of things and the spiritual side of things, and that's why I love spending time with you. The word goals, I think we have misdefined a lot of ways. I like to set a goal as something that I have total and complete control over. I have total and complete control over how many people I talk to today in the sales process. I
So it's
can
not about how
keep
many
going
people
until
closed or how much money comes in. It's how many phone calls you make. Love it.
bingo,
Love it.
bingo,
Yeah, it's
bingo.
great.
I can control that, and that's the only thing I can really hold myself accountable to. And by the way, nobody else can hold me accountable. I'm the only one that can hold me accountable. And
Yeah.
in doing so, then if we set our goals and smart goals, I mean, everything you say about goals is absolutely right. But
Mhm.
if we focus on goals that we have control over, then you don't get that situation of being overwhelmed. You don't get that situation of saying, oh my God, I'm not doing what I need to do. I haven't gotten to this level of sales. I haven't gotten to this end objective. Oh my Lord, the world's come to an end. Well, no, it's not. Did you
Yeah,
do what you
I
need to
love that.
do?
I think that's such a great thing because, I do believe that goals are great, and I set my vision for the year, and I do my intentions, and I do that type of thing because I think that the power of goals is that it brings us clarity. Like, what is it that we want? What is the end game that we're going for? And that clarity is a huge driver. But you're right. There is sort of this shadow side of goal setting where it can feel overwhelming and there's guilt or shame if we don't reach those goals. So what do you see is, some of the biggest challenges in terms of like why goal setting can be a little toxic or can be stress inducing? Like, what's the dark side of goal setting from what you've seen?
Well, you just said it. It's that side of getting to the point where you're focused so much on the results that you forget that, wait a minute, that I can't do anything about that. I can
Yeah.
only worry about those things over which I have control. A friend of
Yeah.
mine does an entire presentation. We've been working on this together for well over 30 years now. A goal is something I have total and complete control over. A desire is something I want, but it requires someone else in order to achieve it, like a
Mm,
sale. I can't
right.
make you buy. I can't manipulate you into buying. That's all I can try, but it's ridiculous because I can't do it. You're the one
Yeah.
that's got to decide to buy. You've got to decide to write the check to give me the credit card, whatever the case may be. I can't do that. You've got to do that. So
Mm,
if I'm totally and completely tied up on things that you control instead of things that I control, I forget to do the things that I have to do to find somebody where it is the right time and it is the right solution to their problem, and we can do business together. So understanding that difference between a goal and a desire is that's an entire other 45-minute presentation.
yeah, I love it. We
But if
talk about in the book, What If It All Goes Right? I talk about going to the desired outcome. Like, what is the reality that you want? And Alex, who hi Alex. Alex was our guest last week. She has an incredibly successful business with her art. So I know that you understand sales because you not only are an artist, but you have a business around art. And she says you got to release the outcome. And that so talk about this, Morris, because people bring you in, because they want more sales. They bring you in because there's an outcome that they want out of bringing in a sales consultant or bringing in a salesperson. So how do you simultaneously say, okay, I'm going to help you have results, and the key to that is releasing the outcome. So how do you kind of balance those two together?
Well, it starts with what you just talked about a minute ago, Mindy. We've got to decide, and this is I call this the clarity principle, and it's another whole 30-minute presentation that I
Right,
do.
right.
But it's the clarity principle. You got to be really clear on what you want, why you want it, and how you're going to get there.
Mm,
How you're going to get there is your strategy. And once you know how you're going to get there, are you going to get from A to Z by riding a bicycle, walking, taking an airplane, whatever? Those are strategies. You got to choose a strategy. You can't have 1,000 of them. You can have one or two. Once you choose that, then you create a strategic action plan. And that's the answer to your question. You've got to have a strategic action plan so that you know exactly what you have to do that you have control over that can
mhm.
get you to where you want to go. And then we start working continuously on how do we get you to what you want? Because that's the way I look at my whole world is I'm here to help you get what you want. And if I do
I
enough
love
of that, Zig Ziglar says, if I do enough of that, then I'll get everything I want. So
right.
it's still that focus has to be on you. The focus has to be on the other person involved, has to be on the audience, has to be on the person who is the prospect, if you will, the person I'm trying to help with the problem that I'm trying to help them solve. It can't be on how much money am I going to make when they choose to buy and do this business with me. I have a quote for you. May I share that?
Yes, I would love it. What have you got?
This has been rolling through my head for months now. What if
Okay.
you could let go? What if you could let go of where your career will lead you and instead focus all your awareness on what you love about what you're doing right now?
Ah, I love that. That is powerful right there. Focus all
Well,
your
you ought to
attention.
think so because it's page 80 from your book, my dear.
Oh, I was gonna say I couldn't have said it better myself.
But it's so true, and it's so hard to get to when you are a very practical, results-oriented business person. That's very hard to accept.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very
It
hard to
is.
accept, especially when you've got that manager over you saying, "But Morris, you haven't hit your sales goal yet. What are you gonna do to hit your sales goal? You've got to do that right now. Who
Right.
are you gonna close this week?" And that's just so wrong of the leadership and management in the world of sales. Let's focus on what you need to do that you can control, not on what somebody else is gonna do or not do.
Well, and I love this too. I love that you bring this up, Morris, because I have this experience when I'm teaching. Of course, you're in a sales environment, so you're teaching people who have sales goals, and goals is a big part of that culture. When I'm working with people and I get to the part about non-attachment, inevitably, it doesn't matter what the field is, I get to the part about non-attachment, and everybody gets a little uncomfortable because we start out with here's the vision, here's what I want to create, and then I say, okay, it's exciting. We love the vision. We get excited about the vision, but not getting attached to that vision. So what does non-attachment mean to you? And how have you used it in your own, in creating business success, like real, tangible, practical business success?
It's been the hardest thing that I've had to learn since I picked up your book and read it and then called you and said, "Gee, Mindy, would you be on my podcast?"
Mm,
It's the main topic that you and I have discussed now for over a year,
mhm,
and it is still a struggle for me. I recently have been working to find a co-branding sponsor for the podcast, for the business of sales, and it has been very, very difficult for me to turn that loose and just do everything I could to be on my end to give them what they want, and
mm,
then turn it loose and wait for all the decisions to be made by all the decision makers and all the contracts signed and all these kind of good things. And it's really, really hard because my practical business brain goes to, what am I going to do when this comes in? What am I going to do? How am I going to deal with this? What am I going to do differently? What am I going to do? I really need this contract because of this, that, and the other. And it's really important to me and my family that we get this and that the revenue starts coming in. And what am I going to do? It's very hard to turn all that loose and turn off that part of your head, or at least it is
yeah.
for me. I'll put it
Yeah,
that
I
way.
think it is universal. And Alex popped in and she said that was the hardest thing for me to allow myself to do and the most valuable because I think the thing with to me this is the dark side of goal setting is we set these intentions and we set them for a good purpose, right? They serve a very good purpose in terms of clarity, but where it becomes toxic is where we start thinking I need to have that thing happen in order for me to be safe or to be loved or to be successful or whatever that in order to be peace is. And so
Mhm.
we can sometimes bottleneck the creative energy that could take us there because we're so attached to the outcome. It actually pinches us off. So I
And
had
that's where,
yeah, go
Mindy,
ahead.
that's where your quote comes into play so wonderfully. If we can get unattached from that stuff and
Mhm.
focus on what we love about what we do, and that's what I've been hanging on to so tightly. It's incredible because I do have these desires, these things I want to accomplish, and I know some of the things, some of the goals that I have set. There are things that I can do, and once I've done all of those, and I still have that desire, it hasn't come to being yet. That's when the turning loose of it becomes difficult. And I have to remember what Mindy taught me. Focus on the things you love about what you do, Morris. Quit that worried about whether or not they sign the contract. Worry about the things that you love. And putting that off to the side has been difficult for me over the past several weeks. But when I have done that, I can sleep better. And there's
Oh,
the benefit.
yeah.
I'm not worried about it. I'm not losing mind space and time worried about something that I can't do anything about. I've done everything I can to build a relationship. I've done everything I can to give them the knowledge and the skill and the stuff they need to be able to do it with. And if they choose not to do it, they choose not to do it. And I've still got to go on.
I love that, Morris, because really, I think love is the how to. When people ask me, how do I not be attached? And that is the answer. That is the answer is to love where you are and to create it because you love the creating of it, because it's fun to create. The attachment is thinking if I can get that other thing, then I'll love my reality. Then, if only I get that relationship, that promotion, that money, that car, whatever, then I'll love my reality. But if you can,
That's
and
the
that's the
yeah,
paradox.
that's the whole premise of Sean Akers' book, The Happiness Advantage.
Mm,
It's all about this whole idea that if I do this, this, and this, and if I get that, that, and that, then I'm going to be happy. When in
yeah.
reality, what Scott's research, Scott Aker, yeah, Sean Aker, what his research shows is it's the happy people, folks that are happy about life, that are successful, that get all those things that they set out that they want to do. So
Yeah.
it's kind of, once again, we've got it backwards.
We've got it backwards. And that's the thing. When you're whether you're working with sales professionals or you're trying to grow a business or you want to find your soulmate or you want to, buy a house or whatever the goal may be, that it's sort of our mind sometimes has a hard time wrapping our head around it, like setting the goal and then not getting it, not like I don't have to like put my whole identity into receiving this goal or not. I know my husband's in sales, and sometimes, he's been in organizations where there are goals set and they're just kind of arbitrary, and there's goals
Mhm.
set where if you hit the goal, management benefits, but nobody else does. So then they create negative energy around that. I have had teachers tell me that the goals around test scores have taken all the joy out of teaching, all the creativity that brought them into the job. It kind of has limited that. So sometimes the things that we think are helping are actually a little counterproductive. Alex says, I found so much freedom in offering the universe to one up my ideas, and it was hard to let go of the reins. Yeah. So what if we let ourselves love the process and love the unfolding of it. So what are your tips, Morris? What's your best strategies for how do you do that? How do you pull yourself out of that attachment to an outcome and into a letting go? Do you have anything that helps you?
I read What If It All Goes Right at least once a day. And I'm not kidding either. I mean, it's on my
I know
daily
you're
list.
not because you email me. You're like, okay, talk about this little line. Talk about this little line. I love that. I
But
love
every
that.
day I'm reading something. I've been through the book 3 times now. And it really does make you stop and think. And I listen to our friend Amy Scruggs all the time as well.
Mm,
I shared her
yeah.
with a client I had yesterday where we were talking about something. Well, I did it last night. I had a brand new client. She's brand new into sales, and I played shh, don't tell anybody. But it was just me and her. It wasn't really a group, but I played Van Halen's right now, because she's got to get focused on doing something right now. But then I played Amy doing What If It All Goes Right, and I used it last night. So I'm trying to be more knowledgeable, but also trying to keep it top of knowledge and top of head so that I can release those things that I don't have control over. And I call those desires instead of goals, because goals are things that I can control. And your husband's absolutely right. There's so many times in business that we're given an objective to hit that maybe has some benefit to me, but in all reality, it's not what I want. That's why I start with all my clients off with, what do you want? Not what
Yeah.
your manager wants, not what your mama says you should do, not what your daddy, your spouse, your friend down the street says you should do. What do you want? Because this is all about you, Mindy. It's not about me, and it's not about anybody else. What do you want? Because we're going to try and get you what you want. And in the meantime, all the rest of those people are going to get what they get. And it really doesn't
Right.
matter.
Yeah, and the power of being able to build a team where each person on the team, you know what they want, you know why they're there, you know what they're going for, and to be able to, I love working with mission-centric organizations, and by that I mean an organization where there is a higher purpose for what you're doing, that you can see the way the work that you're doing is benefiting humanity or benefiting something that you care about, a cause that you care about, because then that sales goal is like, okay, having a bonus at the end of the month, that's great. But knowing that I made a difference for 100 people, or knowing I made a difference for one person, knowing that I made a difference for that person who said yes to that thing that I offered to them and that it made their life better. Sometimes that's the fun, like that's the playfulness piece of it.
Yeah.
That's the feel good piece of it, is how many lives can we improve? And do we believe that the things that we're doing, particularly in a sales context, that the things that we're offering to people actually improve the quality of their lives, and then to have fun bringing that to them.
Yeah,
It's a
and
different
if you
energy.
don't believe that If you don't believe that first part, you need to get the hell out of whatever it is you're doing. If you
Yeah.
don't believe that what you're selling or what your service you're providing is truly worthwhile, good, and helping the people you're working with, then seriously, you need to find something else to do and something
Yeah.
else to sell because if you don't believe in it, it ain't going to work. I was in the life insurance world, and I remember somebody telling me one day, I don't believe in life insurance. And it took me a while to come to the conclusion, but I finally looked at him and I said, you know what? You don't have to believe in it to own it and protect your family.
Mm.
But this happened to be an agent I was talking to, but I said, but you do have to believe in it to sell it.
Yeah.
And that's true of everything. That's true of
Yeah.
everything. So I think that's a big part of the whole thing. One other thing, if I may, Mindy,
Yes.
the fact is in business we get practical, and maybe you're up toward the end of a quarter, you're up toward the end of the mid-year point or the end of the year for that matter, whatever that might be for you. And you've got somebody out there saying, Morris, you've got this much more to do. You got this much more result to bring in order to hit your goals so that the company can do well and you can do well and everybody's going to be really happy. You've got this much more to do. Well, I don't think you ignore that. We're not cavalier and saying, well, tough, that has nothing to do with what I want, because it does. It has something to do with it, or you wouldn't be where you are. At that point, you do have to look at what your goals are that you can control and what might you be able to do to focus a little bit more on helping you get to that result in the time frame required. Not that you're going to trash your entire strategy, but for the short term, sometimes we have to focus in different areas in order to get the result or the desire that we're looking for. So we still have to be practical, Mindy. We still have to look at the real world from time to time. But overall, when you can
I think
be
that's great. What I hear in that is, and this is the benefit, this is the power of goal setting, is that by saying, okay, here's my journey from A to B, and by the end of this quarter I want to be at A and a half. I want to get this far in this amount of time, and then I find myself, it gives us a benchmark, it gives us just sort of a measuring stick to see, am I on track? And then it gives us a feedback loop to be able to say, okay, well, if this is what I desire, like, and here's what I'm trying, and here's where I am, and am I on track? That it gives us a framework to become more resourceful, to become more innovative, to become more creative. Like, okay, if this isn't working, what can I try to get to this outcome? So if we approach it like a game and like, okay, it's the final quarter. My favorite, I'm not a big sports person, but I like jumping into the room like in the last 3 minutes of the game. I like it once we get to once we get to that final, like, okay, they're about to score, they're almost there. That's such an exciting time. And so I think goal setting is great because it does create that, it creates a game around creating what we want. In its best case scenario, it pulls people together, like, let's work together, let's get to that space. But that only works when everybody's bought into what the goal is and everybody benefits in some way, whether it's extrinsically with a bonus or intrinsically with the knowing that you've made the world a little better place. So I love this.
well, the,
Alex says desires instead of goals. So that is a more nugget of gold right there. And constant opportunity for reevaluation. Goals do give us that.
Mindy, it's that old saying: when you keep score, the score gets better.
That's
So
true.
having that benchmark and knowing what the score is, I'm not going to focus on that result. I'm not going to focus on that desire necessarily, but it does allow me to know where we are in the game
Yeah.
and what's going on. But I'm with you. I can only handle the last maybe 3 minutes of a basketball game. I can watch football all day, but I can only handle the last 2 or 3 minutes of a basketball game. That's just me.
Yeah, who's gonna win? What's the final score? So yeah, I absolutely agree. It is a constant opportunity for reevaluation. So thank you, Alex, for that. And you're right. We are in the world. To be in the world but not of the world. To say, okay, this is our court. This is where we play, and what can we create together without using those goals in a way that is toxic, that is beating people down, and actually counterproductive because of we're not at our best when we're stressed out. We're not at our best. It causes health issues. It causes anxiety and things that really don't even take us to where we want to go. So Mary says, awesome advice. And thank you so much for being here. So it is awesome advice. And thank you, Morris. There's so much happening in our community. And for those of you who don't know Morris, he is a member of the What If Up Club. He is an incredible, we call us What If Uppers. So he is a fabulous person to what if up with and to explore possibilities. Our community, if you're not part of our community already, you can join us. It's free at whatifup.org. We have all kinds of cool things going on in our community, including every week we have a member challenge. So I went in today to see who the winner is, and there's actually 1 hour left on actually about half an hour left on this week's challenge. It's called the Fact Check Your Fear Challenge, and the winner is going to get a custom resin art piece created by Alex Gossi. So thank you, Alex, for contributing our prize for the week. It's gorgeous, and you can take a peek at it by going to our community at whatifup.org. So that was last week's challenge. Winner will be announced today. The challenge for the upcoming week, with a shout out to you, Morris, is for this one, this week's challenge is to set a goal and have it be a goal that you can accomplish, a 7-day goal. So a goal for the week, and have it be something that maybe feels like a little bit of a stretch, something that you would like to accomplish. Or it could be something like Morris said, like you're going to make so many phone calls, or you're going to walk so many steps, or you're going to, whatever that thing might be, set a goal for yourself that maybe feels a little bit like a stretch, and notice as you go through the week what's happening in your mind related to that goal. Notice if you're making it heavy, if you're making it stressful, and look for ways to make it fun and playful. And if you get stuck, that's what our community is for. We can go in and say, here's what I'm trying to accomplish. What are some possibilities? And we will what if up. We will generate what if positive ideas to help you get from where you are to where you want to go. So that's the challenge for the week. Also want to remind you, next Wednesday is our monthly member mastermind. We get together at 8 p.m. Eastern time, first Wednesday of every month. And it's a great chance to share what you're working on, what your desire is, and to get some ideas, some possibilities from our community. Next week, since we've got the challenge this week, it'll be a great chance to check in on your wins. What if that goal you set? What if you just slam dunk it? Or what if, even if you don't, you learn something from it that makes you more productive? You learn something that puts you on a trajectory to get where you want to go with more ease and grace and efficiency. So with that, Morris, I want to thank you so much for being here. Thanks for being part of our What If Wednesday. We always kick things off with a little what if upping related to our topic of the week. So how about if we just close with some what ifs around creating healthy goals? You want to share something? What else do you want to share?
Yeah, just real quick, if you'd like, Mindy,
Yes.
if our group would like, the winner of this week's challenge, I'm not sure what the prize might be, but I'll offer this up. The winner of this week's challenge can spend a half hour with me, and we'll talk about what they want, why they want it, and where they want to go, and how they might be able to get there if you'd like.
Wow, that is fantastic.
That session up.
Half-hour coaching session with Morris Sims. And Morris, I found you through you found me through your podcast, The Business of Sales. You have had, I just want to do a recognition that your podcast is just exploding. I mean, you're just having incredible growth in your podcast. So just for those who have that dream, and I know it's not an overnight thing, that it's something that you've been working on for a while. What do you think has been the key to your growth in terms of building your audience and getting the word out about what you do?
Consistency. We've been doing this for, working on our end of our third year. Got 170 episodes and probably 200 in the can, waiting to be published. In fact, we've stopped recording for the next couple of months because we just got so much backup waiting to go. But consistency, I think, is the key. We've done one show at least. We're doing 3 right now a week, but we've done one show a week every week since we started without fail. And I think that's a big part of it. The other part of it is realizing that I don't know how to do it all. I do need help professionally, and I've reached out and found a group that I'm working with, the Lucky Titan and Pantheon FM. We've gone from 10,000 downloads at the end of last June to, probably hadn't checked it lately, but we should be well over 50,000 by this point in time for the life of the show, and about 7,000 a month. So we're really excited about that and the work we've been able to do with the Pantheon. So it's been a blast. But I think that's a big piece of entrepreneurship and leadership, is realizing that you do have to reach out and talk to the real professionals. You do need a lawyer. You do need an accountant. You do need those professionals out there to help you in those areas that are not your expertise. No, Virginia, you cannot go out there and build your own website just to make it look really pretty and great, unless that's what you want to do for a living, because it's going to take you that much time to do it. So that's there you go.
I
That's
love it. I love it. Well, so the prize this week, thank you, Morris. Prize this week is a half-hour coaching session, consulting session with Morris Sims from the Business of Sales. Donna says, thank you. Mary says, thank you, Morris. Alex is like, nice. Yay. This is awesome, from Sandy. Hi, Sandy. Mary says, that's very generous of you. Thank you. Thank you. Alex says, I said consistency at the exact same time he did. Consistency, consistency, consistency. If you look for success, you'll find success, consistency. And Mary says, way to go, Morris. Congratulations. It really is exciting to see. So what if we found a way to set goals in a way that's healthy, that's fun, that's joyful? What are some possibilities that you can come up with? And if you're in the comments, share your what ifs as well. What comes up for you as a possibility, Morris, in terms of setting healthy goals?
Oh, golly gee. That's a wonderful question. For me, healthy means taking care of myself. And that means doing what my wonderful bride, my lovely wife, Carla, tells me to do, which is clear your calendar, dadgummit. Quit trying to work from 6 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. Quit that. That's not necessary. You don't have to do that. Your business is well, and you're retired, so you got that nice little pension income coming in. You don't have to do that. Dadgummit, quit trying to run yourself into the ground. Number one. Number two, my desire is always around exercise, getting enough exercise and getting out there and doing something with it. So setting those kind of desires out there in front of myself, and then looking at my goals that I can set around that, which include cutting down that capsule of work time every day. And I'm the only one that can control that. It's just me. So it's me saying, I'm not going to do this before this time, and I'm going to stop at that time. And it's me controlling myself to get my, off of this chair and over there on the treadmill in the other room, at least.
So what if we are actually more productive when we are taking care of ourselves? What if we create a sense of balance, and that balance gives us the creativity and the presence of mind and the energy and the joy to be more effective in what we do? What if we listen to those people who love us so much and receive their feedback and respond to them as well? Donna has a what if. She says, what if my goals had far-reaching results of peace, love, and compassion for all? That is a powerful possibility. Any other what ifs pop into your mind? What if it's fun? What if it's a joyful experience? What if you play full out this week, take on the challenge? And what if you end up next week hanging out with Morris Sims, our guest, and a fabulous, not only sales training, but just really with whatever it is you're wanting to create, what your desire is, how do you create that journey, and how do you figure out what your benchmarks are so that you can set powerful, healthy, life-affirming goals. Thank you, Morris, for being my guest today. It's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me, Mindy. It's been a blast. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. And thank you all for being here for What If Wednesday. We're here every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Looking forward to seeing you in our community. Take on the challenge and have a great week. Share your what ifs. Looking forward to staying connected. Bye, everybody. See you soon.